BMW Airhead. I spoke about getting a classic bike for the last year or so. I've done a few videos about what to look for, whether it be a Commando, again a T140 or a BMW Airhead, but I've finally done it. And I chose the BMW. And the one that I chose was an R45. Why did I do that? Well, I started riding on one of these 20 plus years ago. Dad taught me to ride. He got himself one to show me all the things to ride and stuff like that. And I hadn't even seen one since. And I was looking at bikes. I was toying between Katana, T140. I'd seen bikes. I chatted to people online. Nothing was really clicking. And I found an old message from months ago from Tony, putting this for sale. He had no takers at the time. He was local, gave him a message. He brought it up for me to have a look at yesterday. Loved it at first sight. That colour is so 1970s with the brown seat as well. So it's a 1978 model. Had to have it. £1,950, which I think is a great deal for a lot of bike. And I'm chuffed. I'm well happy with it. So if you like BMWs, if you like classic bikes or motorcycle adventures, give the channel a subscribe and a like, and I'll take you on this journey of what we're going to do to this bike. And we'll get into it in a minute, what we are going to do. But let's talk a little bit about this one. So it's showing 28,667 miles. Believed to be genuine, looking at the old MOTs that I've got, but it hasn't done a crazy amount of miles in recent years. About 800 miles, I think, probably in the last 6 or so years while Tony's dad had it. The rear tyre, which is a Dunlop TT100, is from the 90s, so that's got to go. So that's the first thing. I've already ordered a Metzler, which to match the front, it's a Metzler ME22 on the front. So I've ordered a ME77 to go on the back. So local dealership down the road's gonna take care of that once it arrives. So that's the first job, and then we will slowly but surely start going through some of the other bits and bobs that we'll look to do. For instance, I'll order a service kit from Motorworks, and we'll change the oil, change the air filter in there, change the oil filter obviously, spark plugs because I don't know how old they are. Then we'll get it out on the road and see what it's like, and then after that I'll look to see what the valve clearances are like, and I believe it's still points under there. I haven't had a chance to have a look yet, but I think it must be, and we'll do that as well. And then we'll just bit by bit we'll get it back on the road. I am not a mechanic. I can remember some things that me and Dad did on his one years ago, and I used to do my own mechanics on my Norton, so I'm okay, but I'm absolutely not an expert, so I'll be asking for advice. But I wouldn't use it as a guide to how to do it, because I will make mistakes as I go, and that's going to be part of why I want to film it. And eventually the aim is to chop the rear off and turn it into, no, I'm joking. Eventually the aim is to have it as close to as it originally was, but we'll keep in some of the battle scars. I'm not getting rid of that. There's some chips and marks and dents on the tank and little bits of surface rust and stuff like that. I don't intend to get rid of any of that because I like it. I liked it. It's had a life, and we'll perhaps go on a journey on like a camping trip or something like that with it. And I love the look of it. I'm so pleased that I've finally done it, and I've gone with a BMW Airhead. I really like it. Really, really happy. But having a look around it, obviously, Boxer, 2-cylinder, 473cc. And if you know a bit about these, they did this in the 450 or 473, called it the 450 R45, and the 650. For the German market, the 450 had a 27 brake horsepower bike, which was part of their licensing laws at the time. This one's 35 brake horsepower. Interesting to see how that feels compared to what I remember from when I started riding. This is 1978, so it was the earlier of the two, which had a slightly lower seat height. And the other main obvious difference is single disc on the front, and my dad's had a twin Brembo. Now, I'm not sure if that was an upgrade for the time or whether it actually comes standard with a twin Brembo, but certainly Brembo replaced what the original caliper is on there. And the other noticeable difference from what I can remember from Dad's model at least is the choke is down here on this one, where it was on the handlebars on my dad's 1982 model. Other than that, it looks very, very similar, and it's bringing back so many memories. The other thing that has happened to it, I was showing my wife and my mum came around to see it because she remembers dad's one, and I was showing them, and it started leaking fuel out of the right-hand side carburetor on these Bing carbs. When I had the fuel on and it was sitting at standstill, I do vaguely remember that happening to Dad's. It certainly rang a bell. It certainly happened to me at some point. I gave it a little tap and it seems to have stopped, which I vaguely remember from back then. But it might be a case that the modern fuels, or there might be some gunge or something. So I might have to clean the carbs out and things like that. Again, these little jobs we will get to as we start going through the bike, as we start going on a journey together. But how does it sound? And will it start? It's been in the garage all day, so it's just come out. Let's put it on. Put the fuel on. Ooh, choke. Put a little bit of choke. Not bad, not bad. With the choke about, what do you call that, a quarter on, it is idling just below 1,000. It's kind of dipping a little bit. Switch it off. Don't want to annoy the neighbours because it's getting to about 7:30 in the evening. Switch that fuel off before it starts leaking fuel everywhere again. Check that it hasn't. It has not, which is great. Yeah, it sounds all right. Apologies, I have a cold at the minute, hence why my voice is a little bit croaky. I do think it really does need a good run. I had a quick look at the spark plugs earlier and they're a little bit sooty, but I think it's only been sat idling for the last however long it's been sat. I don't think it's done a proper run. So once we get the new tyre, get the oil changed and other bits and bobs, we'll give it a run to see what it's truly like before we delve too deep into things like carburetors and points and things like that. The other thing that I need to change is, Tony wasn't sure why, but his dad had taken the side stand off. But he did give me the side stand, but I know you can get the Surefoot side stands for this, which are considerably better. So I've ordered one of them from Motorworks. We'll bolt that straight on because that will help. Because the other thing is that the main stand, I think either the bushes are gone or something's bent or something. Because when you lift, for a start, it's very difficult to get it off the main stand. But when you get it on, it looks to me like it's going too far. So then it's hard to get off the stand. It's also a bit wobbly though. It doesn't seem too bad there. I think the patio's actually leveled it up a little bit. But it's certainly something's not right with the main stand. So we'll get the side stand on, which will then allow me to take the main stand off, to have a look at the bushes and things like that, and see if there's anything untoward with that. But again, bits that we'll get into. I keep looking, I love this saddle. Absolutely love this brown saddle. And the fact that it opens up as well. So you can put your manual and everything like that in there. I've also ordered a cable for a battery charger, so I can plug it into my C-Tech alongside my Bonneville. Let's try and rock it off the stand. It's quite light, I think it's about 200 kilograms. Seat height 770, so ever so slightly 2 centimeters lower than what the Bonneville is as standard. Let's rock it. Rock it off. Though it feels taller than 770 millimeters, I have to say, but that's probably because the tank's relatively wide. So I can 1 foot flat on the ground quite easily. If I try to get both, I'll be on tiptoes, but I can still rock it back and forth, and I can easily rock it back and forth with 1 foot on the ground. One of the things with the R45 and R65 is those short handlebars, which that's one of the things I really do remember from Dad's one. They're really short. That's quite nice. You can get taller ones, but I'll start as I is with these and see how we get on. That mirror doesn't look Well, I can't see a thing out of it for a start, so that doesn't look right. So I don't know if it's different to the other one. If it is, I'll change it over, because that one's fine. But again, we'll get it on the road first. Yeah, can't wait, can't wait. Got any tips? If you've owned an R45 or an R65 or an R80 or any Airhead, put them in the comments. Got anything you think that I need to look at for a bike that's been sat for a long time? Again, whack them in the comments. I'll read all of them and reply to as many as I can. Yeah, can't wait, can't wait. Hope you've enjoyed that. Plenty more to come with the R45, more to come with the Bonneville and some other bikes that I'm trying to get hold of to do some reviews on, and some clothing reviews, all that kind of thing. So give me a subscribe, it really helps the channel grow. Today we tipped over 3 million views across YouTube on shorts and long videos. If you'd said to me 2.5 years ago when I started this that I'd get 3 million views, I would have just laughed you out of the room. So thank you very much. And I will see you on the next video.